Does that come with kind of pressure or is it pride?
I would say more pride. I think it depends how you look at it, and I try to take it in with as much gratitude as I possibly can, because I know not a lot of players are able to have this platform, and it's a blessing to have this support behind me. So yeah, I won't say that it comes without any pressure at all. But what I do is I just try to focus on what I need to do on court, how I can work to the best of my ability, and I know that I'll perform to the best that I can. Yeah.
Oprah Winfrey publicly called out Eala, and it quickly turned into one of the biggest missteps of her year. Instead of going through PR channels, releasing a polished statement, or staying silent, Alex chose a completely different approach. She fired back with just 8 words: no build-up, no damage control. Those 8 words spread rapidly online, sparking massive reactions and leaving Oprah's team with nothing to say in response. Here's how it all unfolded. Do you think Alex handled the situation perfectly, or did she take it too far? Share your honest opinion in the comments.
Everything clicked after that. And I look back at that moment and I just think, wow, like it was insane. And it's crazy to believe that actually happened.
Eala isn't having a fleeting viral moment, the kind that flashes across timelines and disappears just as quickly. What she's experiencing is something far more powerful, a steady, undeniable rise. The kind that builds quietly at first, then all at once. The kind where brands start reaching out, stadiums begin to fill, and people who've never followed tennis suddenly know exactly who you are. Her journey didn't begin with hype, it began with sacrifice. As a teenager, she left the Philippines and moved to Spain to train at the prestigious Rafa Nadal Academy. That decision alone speaks volumes. It meant leaving behind family, comfort, and familiarity to chase something uncertain. Day after day, she trained in one of the most demanding tennis environments in the world. There were no shortcuts, just long hours on court, relentless discipline, and the kind of pressure that either breaks you or builds you into something stronger. She earned her place the hard way: a junior Grand Slam title, endless matches on the ITF circuit, grinding through qualifiers in extreme conditions, often far from home. Every ranking point came at a cost. Every win meant pushing past physical exhaustion and mental doubt. And somewhere along that journey, something unexpected happened. Eala became more than an athlete. She became a symbol. Across Southeast Asia and beyond, her influence started to grow. Young fans who had never picked up a racket were suddenly tuning in. Matches began drawing attention not just from tennis enthusiasts, but from an entirely new audience. Sponsors lined up. Media outlets wanted her story. She wasn't just winning matches, she was changing who felt included in the sport. That kind of crossover appeal is rare. It's something organizations spend years and millions trying to manufacture. And yet, Alex made it happen organically, which is exactly why the backlash hit so hard. Out of nowhere, Oprah Winfrey publicly criticized her. It wasn't subtle. It wasn't framed as constructive commentary. It came across as a direct dismissal. Oprah suggested that the buzz around Alex wasn't rooted in elite talent, but in image, personality, and spectacle. She described her rise as noise rather than substance. For many, that struck a nerve. Because Alex's story is anything but superficial. This is someone who left home as a teenager, trained through loneliness and uncertainty, and fought her way into professional tennis without guarantees. Reducing that to noise didn't sit well with fans or with the broader sports community. The reaction was immediate. Social media lit up. Journalists weighed in. Former athletes began subtly showing support. Everyone was watching for one thing: Alex's response. Moments like that define careers. Not the criticism itself, but how you answer it. Many young athletes in her position would have played it safe. A carefully worded PR statement. A neutral tone. No controversy. Protect the brand, avoid conflict, let the news cycle move on. That's the standard playbook. Alex didn't follow it. She responded directly, in her own voice. No team, no filter. She made it clear that she had never chased fame, that everything she has comes from years of work, struggle, and belief. She spoke about representing people who see themselves in her journey, about turning pain into purpose, about proving that opportunity can exist, no matter where you come from. And then she ended it with a line that instantly went viral. "My legacy is built on courts, not couches." 8 words. That was it. But those 8 words carried weight. They drew a sharp, unmistakable contrast. Not disrespectful, not loud, just precise. They highlighted the difference between living the struggle and talking about it. Between competing under pressure and observing from a distance. The impact was immediate. Fellow players began quietly supporting her, liking posts, sharing messages. Former champions echoed the sentiment. A phrase from her response, "pain into purpose," started trending worldwide. And Oprah's side? Silence. No follow-up, no clarification, just quiet. And that silence spoke volumes. Because Oprah Winfrey isn't known for backing down from public discourse. She's spent decades navigating complex conversations with confidence and clarity. The fact that there was no response suggested something important. Either there was no strong counterargument, or continuing the exchange simply wasn't worth it. But the deeper reason this moment resonated goes beyond just 2 individuals. It tapped into a much larger, long-standing pattern in sports, especially when it comes to young female athletes. We've seen this before. When a young woman rises in sports and also becomes marketable, the narrative often shifts. Suddenly, her success is questioned. Her visibility becomes suspicious. Her popularity is framed as a distraction rather than a strength. It happened with Anna Kournikova, with Maria Sharapova, more recently, with Emma Raducanu. The pattern repeats, achievement gets overshadowed by perception. Eala found herself placed into that same narrative. But here's what makes this moment different: the landscape has changed. The old model of media gatekeeping doesn't hold the same power anymore. There was a time when visibility depended on approval from networks, producers, and major platforms. If someone like Oprah gave you a seat, your story reached the world. If not, it didn't. Today, athletes like Alex don't need that system. They speak directly to their audience. They build communities in real time. They control their narrative without waiting for permission. That's not noise, that's evolution. And for many fans, especially in regions where representation has been limited, that direct connection matters deeply. When someone from a similar background breaks into a global sport, it changes perception. It makes the impossible feel possible. That's what Alex represents. Her rise isn't just about tennis, it's about access, visibility, and belief. It's about showing a new generation that they belong in spaces that once felt out of reach. Ironically, that idea is something Oprah herself built her legacy on: sharing stories that resonated, creating platforms for voices that weren't always heard, turning personal struggle into global impact. Which is why this clash felt so unexpected. In many ways, Alex is doing a modern version of what Oprah once championed, just through a different medium, for a different generation. And maybe that's the real tension here. Because the definition of influence has shifted. The gatekeepers are no longer the only voices that matter. The audience decides. The connection is immediate. The impact is measurable in real time. Alex understands that. And she made it clear in the simplest way possible. My legacy is built on courts, not couches. No anger. No theatrics. Just clarity. Since then, Oprah's silence has continued. And in a situation like this, silence isn't empty, it's telling. It suggests that sometimes, the most powerful response isn't another statement, but recognizing when the moment has already been decided. Alex stepped into a situation she didn't start. She responded on her own terms. And she walked away having said everything she needed to say. Whether you agree with her approach or think it crossed a line, one thing is certain: she didn't shrink. Not under pressure, not in the spotlight, and not when challenged. And that might be the clearest sign of who she is becoming, not just as a player, but as a presence far beyond the court.